Greetings, this is September 1st at 11 p.m. In the second week of July, I was looking down my driveway and saw these orange clouds rolling over top and realized I had to move fast. So in a day, we bushwhacked all that, cleared up all the dead wood, and went and limbed all the trees that were anywhere near the place so that grass couldn't catch fire and then spread up into the trees. Just getting everything that was combustible down and away. It doesn't take long and it can mean a big difference. Okay, I'm going to jump to a new evacuation order. This is put out by BC Wildfire, and this is looking at Highway 24 from Horse Lake south. You want to check with the Caribou Regional District and check with the BC Wildfire, links below in the description, and find out if your area is affected. They're going to have the latest information there. We are now jumping over to the World View, NASA Landsat, looking at the daily imagery. This combination of cloud cover and smoke is really obscuring the ground. It's not even really worth zooming in, but that link is below, and if you have a particular concern area, you may get some more detail by zooming right in and seeing where that affected area is. We're going to jump over to Windy right now. 5 kilometers coming from the northeast, right at the fire line. This is southwest of Sheridan. And if I look at another computer model, there's some variation. It's more or less coming from northeast at 8 kilometers an hour. This is a good wind direction if you're in Sheridan. Not so good if you're at Watch Lake. It's going to be very difficult to have a good wind direction when there's development and infrastructure in all directions. So all eyes are on Saturday. We could have winds peaking at 40 kilometers an hour. Those are gusts, and generally around 15 kilometers an hour. But then at around 6, 7 o'clock, maybe 9 o'clock at night, the wind shifts and comes from the other direction. So what this is telling me is there's going to be variation. It's not settled. There's a lot of movement coming from different areas, almost like there's bellows at either end of the Elephant Hill wildfire. One low pressure and then a high pressure, and then it drops back down and the wind rushes to the other section. But what we can see is we get a reprieve at night, and then it picks up speed in the afternoon and then slows down again in the evening, early morning. No precipitation in the forecast, very minimal cloud cover, but Sunday morning I am seeing a little bit of low cloud over this specific area. I don't know what that means. I hope it doesn't mean a lightning watch. But if it does, please do check the BC wildfire map below, because if a strike happens and it turns into a wildfire, it's going to show up on there. Infrared sometimes is delayed, but they are depending on all of us as eyes and ears on the ground. So there's that star quad 5555 on your cell phone. Okay, let's jump over to the infrared. This is on the VIIRS system. It came in about 8:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it's virtually the same as what we were looking at earlier. We are seeing some of these newer hotspots on the fringe elements of the southeast. They are looking to go east of Pressy, and they are kind of backed up at Little Green Lake Road and North Bonaparte Road around that intersection. And I can almost see a red lateral new fire line, which may be a control strategy or backburning, and that's speculating on my behalf. It does look like the infrared has crossed the Rayfield River, that's just above center on your screen, and is trying to move back down south into that forested block above the North Bonaparte Road. For other lake areas around Watch, Sheridan, I'm not seeing really any perceptible movement or expansion. Just new flare-ups within the existing fire area. We've switched and now we're going down to High Heum, and the same. We do have that build up along the Brigade Road, 3400 Road I believe it is, and it's showing maybe half a dozen hot spots trying to go northeast. But this wind is changing around so much that it may be throwing the fire back on itself in many instances. And we hope that's to the benefit of the wildfire crews. We have moved into the map around Loon Lake, Bonaparte, and Young Lake, and not seeing really any difference there. Just one new spot around the Pipeline Brigade Road, 3400 Road. Yes, there are one or two new hotspots within existing fire pockets, but I'm not seeing red expansion in any specific direction. Just perhaps a bit of a creep outwards on some of these. I'd like to jump over to the EO browser again and return to that Landsat photograph from August 22nd and put on the kind of like a chlorophyll filter so I can see where the forested areas are, and this will be linked below in the description. What we're seeing is where the forest pockets are, and this is the area north of Green Lake between Sheridan, Green, Watch Lake, and up towards Horse Lake. And it gives us an indication in the darker green zones where dense forest occurs. Now, I've shifted over to High Heum, and southeast of High Heum, just below center of your screen, you can see a burn area in light color, and then you can see dark green patches to the right of that. And that's where the fire intensity is right now, in those dark patches of timber and within some of those cut blocks around it. So looking at this image of High Heum and knowing where the fire is to the northeast of the lake, up along the road, it's in those dark green forested pockets, and that's where it's giving the most volatility right now. So by making a comparison using this imagery with where the fire is now, where the evacuation orders are now, we can get an indication of where the fire may potentially leap to if the wind and the conditions are there to push it into new fuel areas. And looking at an overview of the Interlakes area, I can see dark green patches. Those are suspect. Now, vegetation is going to change depending on how close you are to lakes, and there's too many variables to scope out in this video. I'm just showing you what I use to verify my position in combination with wind factors and the fire behavior. Okay, we're going to jump over to Drive BC, and there is an alert. I made a notation on the last video. Highway 24 closed except for Horse Lake Road. This is a strategic evacuation. I'm not sure if they're going door to door and saying run. You want to go to Drive BC and click on that link and go to BC Wildfire. We've rolled into an image from Drive BC's Sheridan Highway Cam. We're looking west towards 93 Mile and Lone Butte, and we do see a headlight in the distance. Somebody's traveling on the road. Switching over to Big Bar, it looks a little hazy. We're seeing some that overcast sky, some cloud, and Begbie once again makes for a good picture, a lot of blue, and I am seeing a bit of haze towards 100 Mile House. This is the Beto Tree webcam, and it's showing us west towards Sheridan. This was a little earlier, 9 o'clock, looking at the sunset. It looks very peaceful. It would be hard to explain to somebody that something as ominous as the Elephant Hill wildfire was just south. So the status is, if you are at Highway 24 or in the Interlakes area, you want to be alert. You want to have your position verified. You want to know your escape routes. You want to have all your resources planned ahead of time, and do what you can to just reduce combustible material around your place. You know, have everything down, out, and away. I don't mean fire up a chainsaw in the middle of the night and knock down your neighbor's trees. I'm saying just take a few precautions and make sure limbs aren't near your house. Make sure the grass is cut and it's well watered, and that the fire can't leapfrog from combustible materials or stacks of wood and things like that and get to your place. It's my sincere hope that none of us have to deal with this right now, but it is a reality. So everyone, please be safe. And thank you very much for watching.